I just moved to this new town with nothing, no money, no connections, and no product, with the goal of one day building an empire from my highly addictive substances. The goal is to reach a net worth of at least $100,000, own multiple properties, and buy my dream car worth $40,000. But there's one catch. I have to do this all within 50 days. I started in my van but quickly left to talk to my uncle at a payphone. He told me that he'd left some money around the town for me to start my journey, so I went to collect it. They were hidden around the town in multiple stashes, but once I collected it all, I heard a sound. The hell was that? My van was destroyed, and left with it was a mysterious note. I was not going to let this stop me, but I didn't know what to do. Luckily, my uncle was on the payphone again, and he told me to go buy a motel, so I did. It wasn't much, but it was enough for a start. The first thing I did in my new home was take the TV and lamp and sell it at a pawn shop for some extra cash. And now it was time to get to work. I first headed down to Dan's hardware store to pick up some soil, a grow tent, and a watering can, but these were all useless without seeds. Conveniently, I soon got a text message from a dealer, so I put in an order for 5 OG Kush seeds. They soon arrived in a stash, and I got to work planting them. While I waited for it to grow, I bought a packing station, some baggies, and a trimmer. I also had enough money left over to grow another plant. Then I went to bed, ending day one. It was a new day, and the first order of business was to harvest my kush and bag it up. As soon as this was done, I listed it for sale. I quickly got an order, so I headed over to complete it. Here you go, sir. 3 OG Kush. While waiting for more customers, I planted some more kush, but then I stumbled upon a skateboard shop. I didn't have much money, but I still decided to buy a cheap skateboard. Obviously, it wasn't the fastest, but soon I'll come back and buy a better one. With the use of my new skateboard, I completed another sale, but selling this product was a bit too slow. So in order to increase my connections, I started giving out free samples. This worked out great as I got 2 more customers, and now business started flowing. I was making deals, getting new customers, planting more kush, and eventually I made enough money to get a new place. This room had enough space for my growing empire. I went ahead and moved everything from the motel into this new room. That night I went out to complete some orders, as I needed to save up some more money to complete my room. As soon as I was done with the deals, I managed to stumble across the casino. The casino? And this was a bad idea. Oh my god. This is exactly what I need. Ah! No! All in. Yes! Are you serious? Yes! Lost all my money. I entered with $679 and left with $7, so I decided to go back and sleep this off. The day had just started and I instantly went out to complete some deals. After I got some money, I wanted to be wise with it, so I invested it into 3 more grow tents to complete my setup. Now I had a system in place. I would use the night to harvest my crops, bag the product, and then replant, and get straight to work in the morning and throughout the day selling it all. Business was going great, so I decided to get my first dealer, Benji. As long as I kept supplying him with product, Benji would keep generating me money, but he would take a cut of the profits. During these past couple days, I also made sure to keep networking and getting new customers, as this will help me get even richer in the long run. According to my uncle, the next step to getting more money was mixing. Basically, mixing is just taking your normal product and combining it with other random stuff to create a more addicting and better substance, which can lead to much more profits, as these new substances sell for more. So because I was making a lot of money already, I ran to Dan's hardware to get myself a mixing station, but I needed some ingredients to mix with, so I bought some at Gasmart. I spent the rest of the night mixing my product and ended up with ice cream dick worth $88, which was more than double than the original price of OG Kush. The next day I went outside to sell my new product, and I was now on a roll, making over $3,000 in just that day alone. With this money I bought the golden skateboard, which was a massive upgrade over what I had before. I was now tasked with exploring the town and going to 3 new places. The first one is the dealership. This is where you can buy vehicles. Next is the auto shop, where you can change the paint on your car. Then there is the real estate shop, where you can buy properties. Finally, there's the warehouse. This is where you can buy illegal items such as weapons, machines, and workers. My business is now growing at a rapid pace, so I decided to save up enough money to buy the bungalow. This is a property that will give me enough space to make an automated farm, but it costs $6,000, so the grind started. During this time grinding for money, I discovered the best mix for OG Kush. First I added mouthwash, then Coca-Cola, and the final ingredient is bananas. This mix is worth $87 and is very efficient using only 3 ingredients. I soon earned enough money to purchase the bungalow. Now it was time to build my automated farm. Once I was done, I made my way to the warehouse to hire some workers. This farm had a botanist to grow the OG Kush, and then a chemist that would mix the mouthwash, Coca-Cola, and bananas to get Super Sync worth $87. With this new system freely generating me lots of product, my sales started to skyrocket. With this newfound wealth, I got a new dealer, Molly. Now I had 2 dealers constantly making me money every day. I continued to still make orders myself, but I soon started producing so much OG Kush my shelves couldn't even hold it. I also decided to buy a business. I can use this business to launder cash to credit, as most big purchases and properties must be paid in credit. So I went over to the laundromat I just bought and started a launder of $2,000, which would take 1 day to complete. After a lot more grinding, I saved up $10,000 in credit, so I decided to buy the post office. This will greatly increase the amount of money I can launder, as it takes in $4,000 a day, bringing my total to $6,000 a day. With all this new money coming in, I had my eyes set on buying a car. So after a few more days of completing deals, I headed to the dealership to buy it. This car is not only useful to get around, but it has lots of storage spaces in it, which will come to be very helpful later. I straight away used this car to transport my mixing ingredients from Gasmart to my bungalow. I now wanted to start making different kinds of product to continue expanding my empire, so I went to the warehouse and purchased a lab oven, acid and phosphorus, while also getting my hands on some pseudo. With these ingredients collected, I went back to my old room and started to cook up some crystals. Of course, I had to try the product. Oh my god, what the hell? Now these crystals were worth some good money, but not as much as the Kush I was already producing, so I decided not to mass produce them and continue with the Kush. My next step is to unlock the barn, which will give me a lot more space for a better automated farm. But for this, I need to get a lot of money, as the barn alone is $25,000. And I also need money for the machines, the workers, and the product. At this point, I was earning almost $8,000 a day, so it was only a matter of time until I earned enough. In order to maximize profits, I stopped using my dealers as they take a cut of the profits, and I also started raising how much people buy off me in texts. And this new strategy was working to perfection. I've now scaled my business to over $10,000 in profits every day, and I soon had over $100,000, so I bought the barn. Then I started to load up my van with all the materials to start the build, so I headed to the barn to build my final farm, which would generate me over $25,000 a day. This farm started with the production of coca leaves. Once grown, these would get transported to drying racks to increase the quality. After dried, they would enter cauldrons. Now the substance was cooked in a lab oven, and finally once they were done, they'd get moved to mixers to mix with horse semen to make a final product of Ultra Death worth $228 each. And by selling this new product, I was easily able to get enough money to get my dream car, the Cheetah. And just like that, in only 50 days, I was able to create a business from nothing, generating me over $25,000 a day, and have a total net worth of $161,000.